Hi, Matt Hamilton, author of Through Travel and Error, Confessions of an Asylum-Seeking Canadian. Welcome back to my online readings. Today it's chapter 3, which is called Runner. It talks about, I guess my first night out on the other side of the planet in Glasgow, and I really was in shock. I stumbled into this club based on the big line out in front and stood in one spot the whole night. I really was in a culture shock, and at the end of the night, this girl came up to me, and she was drunk, and anyways, asked me what I was doing, and I explained that I was from Canada, not from there, and anyways, she said, hey, why don't you come out and meet me and my girlfriends at this bar down the street tomorrow night, and we'll show you a proper night in the town. And of course, so anyways, this is where we'll pick it up. Chapter 3, Runner. Of course I hooked up with them the next night. What else did I have to do? Canadians can drink. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. However, all the boozing I had done in my short yet prolific drinking career did not prepare me for the alcoholic bender that Fiona and her 5 girlfriends put me through. I should have known these lasses could drink. I'm not sure if it's their obscene language, their trampy and way too revealing clothing, or the amount of booze they were guzzling, but Fiona and her 5 friends personified words such as rough, nasty, and hard drinkers. They struck me as the type of girls who would burp and fart loudly and proudly. I knew I was in trouble. I'm not sure at what point I lost count of my drinks, but I do know we were still at Nice and Sleazy, and we were still drinking Pernod and lemonade. Seemingly endless rounds made their way to the table and down the throats of the Glaswegian women. These girls could drink longshoremen under the table. I was in big trouble. If I had been in Canada, I would have passed out right then and there after having consumed so much alcohol in so short a time. However, I had a double dose of pride, Canadian and male, that was keeping my head elevated. I couldn't let these Glaswegian gals destroy the cocky Canadian lad on his second night on the road. Despite all signs indicating that I would be, I couldn't be the first to go down to the drink. Please, one of them, just one of them, bailed me out by saying quits. Not a chance. It was time to pub hop. Where we went is still a mystery to me. What wasn't a mystery was that wherever we were surrounded by loads of alcohol, and the girls weren't slowing down. Worse yet, they weren't showing any signs of doing so. I was nearing my last breath, and these mad women still had their second wind in the waiting. I was in colossal trouble. There were signs that I was about to pass out. I had the spins. My tongue felt heavy and pasty. I was seeing double, therefore doubling the amount of alcohol in front of me. Fuck Canada and fuck machismo. I knew if I got another whiff of the booze, I was going to chuck my guts right then and there. I was about to bow out as gracefully as a stumbling, drooling, slurring drunk could when one of the girls, bless her heart, said, I'm pure steam in head. I need to get my arse into a hackney. The other girls eyed and proceeded to get up. I didn't have a clue what was just said, but it appeared to my joy we were leaving. I was saved. I was going to escape to this depraved adventure with my pride, a handful of brain cells, and most importantly, my dinner. But when we got to the door, one of the girls, may she rot in hell, said, "No way, Mary Bird. Get your ass back in there for another bevy." The other girls eyed and turned around. I didn't have a clue what was just said, but it appeared to my horror that we were going back in for more alcohol. The mere thought of having to put another drink to my lips sparked a massive revolt, an exodus in my guts. I puked everywhere. And I did. And I somehow got my way back to the hospital and woke up the next day with a vicious hangover. But there was something about this hangover that was a little different. And, so we'll go back to that now. This could go down as the mother of all hangovers. I was stretched out in my dorm bed, not wanting to move. My head was pounding. My eyes were swollen. My tongue felt thick and furry. My throat was raw. My stomach muscles felt as though they endured 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. I was a mess. As I said, this could go down as the mother of all hangovers, but it didn't. There was one factor preventing my suffering from ranking among the most sadistic of all time. It was an anomaly that to the traditional physical characteristics of a massive hangover. Despite my agony, I was smiling. I was feeling ecstatic. My friends know I'm good at holding my booze. They know I'm even better at losing it. And when I lose it, I do so in a loud, painful, and violent manner. The blood capillaries in my cheeks and eyes burst, leaving my face puffy, bloodshot, and downright ugly. When I puke, it is always a ghastly and excruciating experience. My friends also know that this is the only time I contemplate taking religion into my life, for I continuously plead with the heavens to deliver a quick end to my horrible suffering. Therefore, they know that there was no way I could feel human, let alone ecstatic. Thankfully, there was a difference between this and all my other previous hangovers. The difference was the reason I was smiling. I was hungover in Scotland. You know, it really sounds silly, but that was all it took, being hungover in a place that was completely new to me. It just eliminated all the aspects of the hangover. However, the one aspect that was there was I was stuck on the couch and I wasn't able to move. And this guy I had met the first day came up to me and he really kind of took advantage of my predicament. Anyways, he was a strange individual. So I'll go back to where we first met and kind of what happens while I'm lying on the couch. After about 30 seconds, I could tell Brian and I had absolutely nothing in common or ever would. It wasn't that he was rude or offensive. He was actually quite friendly and helpful. He was just quite strange. He oozed oddity. It was hard to discern exactly what it was about Brian that was weird. Regardless, my instincts were screaming, "Hey man, heads up. This guy enjoys dissecting small animals and plays Dungeons and Dragons a little too intently." He did, however, lead me to the hostel. The flight and the emotions of the day had drained me. I was dead tired and all I wanted to do was sleep. I checked in, turned around, and bumped right into Brian, who had been lurking in my shadow. "So, what do you want to do now?" He clearly meant we. I explained that I was tired from the long flight and was going to take a shower and crash. "So, how long are you going to nap?" What I wanted to say, "When I'm done sleeping, you tit." But all I could spit out was, I don't know. "If you want, I could hang around and wait for you and we could go out somewhere together." Was this guy serious? I tried to clarify that I was tired and with the jet lag there was a chance I'd sleep through till morning. I didn't want to waste his evening. "That's alright, I don't mind waiting. I don't have plans anyhow." Now, there was a surprise. When I did wake up, I did my best cloak and dagger routine in an attempt to avoid Brian. Thankfully, I was able to escape detection and sneak off for my evening at the garage. This went on for 2 days. I'd peek around corners and then scamper off when there wasn't a sign of him. I was becoming an expert at evading Brian. Unfortunately, in my state of extreme weakness, he tracked me down. He was oblivious to my misery, and his voice was like a jackhammer on my brain. He asked me what my plans were. Without thinking, for thinking wasn't something I had good in this state, I managed to convey that I planned to stay in Glasgow for a few more days and then make my way to Edinburgh. He must have smelled my weakness. That sounds like a great idea. I think I'll join you." Brian had left the room before my brain fully registered what he said. When my grey matter eventually deciphered his words, I went into a panic. I didn't know how to tell Brian that I didn't want to travel with him, and I didn't have the heart or personality to tell him to fuck off. So I did the only thing I could. I did a runner from Glasgow. And you know what? And I really did think that would be one of the benefits I had of traveling, was this ability just to pick up and go at a whim. And I did. And I really did just pack my bags right then and there and snuck out of the hostel and ran down to the train station and jumped on a plane for Edinburgh. And that is where chapter 3 comes to an end. So I hope you enjoyed the little snippets you heard. Come back next week for chapter 4, which is called Why Not? It's about my time in Ireland. If you are interested in finding out more about the book through Travel and Error, please visit my website, madmattiesworld.com, or Google the name and the title and you'll have a whole smorgasbord of options of where you can pick up the book. Thanks for your time and we'll see you again soon. Have a good one.